Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. As promised earlier this afternoon, here's your video update for tonight. It is about 7:30 at night, and we've got a lot to talk about. Some very cold, even some potentially below zero temperatures are coming our way, along with some snow chances, several snow chances, in fact. We'll jump right in. More on that in just a little bit. This video update tonight is being sponsored by High Voltage Mobile DJ Services. Electrify the night. High Voltage Mobile DJ Service has been operating for about 10 years now. They provide you with the best entertainment with a great price. Be sure to check them out. Tell them that Southern Indiana weather sent them, if you will. They can do country music, hip-hop, rock, pop, you name it, if it's even all the way back to the 50s. So if it's a genre of music, they can provide it. They're the only DJ in the area that has an outdoor mobile stage. They've got a lot of great things to offer, so check them out. DJHighVoltage.com, and you can talk to Nathan by his the email me button over here on the left, and tell him that Southern Indiana Weather sent you, and we appreciate them sponsoring us. All right. Lots to talk about as far as the weather world is concerned tonight. We've had a lot of snow showers around today, and some of you even saw a little bit of accumulation, mainly just a dusting. A few reports of up to a ½ inch, but those were very those were widely scattered. They were, I guess, more isolated would be the better way to say that. If we take a look at current radar, you can see those snow showers are pretty much dying down. Just a few things left. We can broaden the view out over here into our GR Earth product, and you can actually see that just a handful of snow showers around here, but we've got another clipper system that's going to be affecting us for tomorrow, and actually that's going to be the story of the next few days. We've got one clipper system that's going to be affecting us here. That's what's going to come and slide our way Thursday. Shortly behind it, there's another clipper system, and then all the way up here there's another clipper system, and these are all going to be diving down our way and affecting us. And so really Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we're going to have clipper systems that we've got to work with as a result. So this is going to bring some reinforcing shots of cold air with it, and it's going to bring a little bit of a bout of snow with it as well. We'll take a look at the Euro model and put it into motion here, and here we are by well, this is really tonight, and you can see those snow showers are mostly ended. Here comes that clipper system I showed you for Thursday. Excuse me, fighting a little bit of a cold. By 1 here in the afternoon, that cold front is very nearing us. It looks like we're going to warm up a little bit tomorrow above the freezing mark. And so it could be a rain-snow mix as it starts, but I doubt it. I think it's pretty much going to stay an all-snow event for us the way I see things right now. And we'll update you more in the morning and depending on that. But right now it looks like it's going to be an all-snow event for us, and really just scattered snow showers at best with this. This is not going to be a huge accumulating event for tomorrow. It's the clipper system, the secondary clipper system that's going to come behind that, and you can actually see that in this little circle right here closely behind it. The second clipper system is more of an upper level type of system, and you can see as it moves in behind it. Here we are by 7 a.m. on Friday morning, and you've got a pretty powerful little clipper system moving in that could provide a little bit of accumulation with it as you go throughout the day, and then even on into Saturday and into Saturday night. Here we are at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. There's your third clipper system that's located near Alaska in the Canadian side of it right now, and now you see that moving through, and that lasts around as well. And so really over the next few days we've got snow chances in the forecast. We keep on putting this into motion, and you'll see eventually. Here we are by the time next Tuesday rolls around, and we've got another snow chance on Tuesday, and then boom, here we go. There's yet another little clipper system diving down here, and there it is. By the time Thursday, Wednesday night, into next Wednesday night into Thursday night hits, there's another clipper system. Behind that, yep, you guessed it, by the time next Friday and into next Saturday rolls around, yet another clipper system. You're kind of getting the point here, aren't you? It's just going to be a train of a very active setup for us. And so really it looks like these cold temperatures are going to stick around for a while, and potential for a little bit of snow with them. what we'll do now is just go ahead and focus on the system that we have at hand, because I think that's the best way. Let's take it one system at a time. Let's talk about really the next 2 days. What can we expect overnight tonight into Thursday and into Friday? And we'll talk about the potential for snowfall accumulation. Do believe there is a little bit of a potential for snowfall accumulation, especially with this second system that moves in on Thursday night into Friday. That will be our best chance. Let's put future radar. This is the high resolution NAM model, and really it did a pretty decent job the past storm, and we'll see whether it does the same this time. And you can see as it moves by the time, this is the overnight hours tonight. Here we are by 6 in the morning tomorrow morning, and you see some scattered snow showers and breaking out into the area. And by the way, these light shades of gray, these are actually snow showers. This is just the color that they use for the very light reflectivity. So this would be very minor snows, even some flurries, sort of a type of thing that we saw today. As you put this into motion, you start to see some of those darker shades come into the area, even some blues at time come into the area, mixing even with some whites and oranges, and so that just indicates some heavier snow showers throughout the day tomorrow. And don't take a look so much at the placement of these. Just understand they're going to be widely scattered in nature. So this may be over here, it may be more down along here. There's no way to really predict that with any 100% degree of accuracy. We're just going to have some scattered snow around it, and as you can see, there are some indications that it could get a little bit heavy at times. So we'll see whether we get any accumulation out of that. And then as we just keep on going through this, you see we have another little snow batch moving through here even by Friday, and so you've got more scattered snow showers to deal with on Friday, and really it lasts most of the day until you get late into Friday evening, and that's off, and you start to see up here at the other edge of your screen the next system that's going to be diving down on Saturday. Alright, let's talk about accumulation. What can we expect? Because this I know is on everybody's mind. Here's what the high resolution NAM, the 4-kilometer NAM says, and really in general, remember up to this first shade of blue starts the 2-inch line. So really an inch to an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches for some of us if we're lucky, area wide. So if we get 2 inches, that's going to be that this is going to depend on this being an overachieving type of system. So we'll just have to see whether that happens or not. Snow ratios are going to be pretty high with this, though, because of the really cold air that's going to be funneling in. Now here's what the Euro model says, and you can see it's kind of on the same vein. The highest total it has here is about 1.5 inches up here around Columbus, 0.7 of an inch down in Huntingburg, 0.4 of an inch in Evansville. Now again, take these all with a grain of salt. These are just model predictions. This is not a forecast. This is just really what models are. It's just guidance. It helps us come up with a forecast. We as meteorologists take these and interpret these, and we'll use multiple models, not just one, to come up with our forecast. But what you see here is important is you got some agreement with the high resolution NAM, and so it doesn't have as high of a snow totals here on the Euro as it did on the high resolution NAM, but you can get that same idea of around 1 inch possibly with this. If you take a look at the Canadian model, again, a very good agreement. A few pockets of 2 inches, but anywhere from a dusting to 1 inch, 1.5 inches, pretty similar to what the others had. And if I switch sites and go over to the GFS, I could show you this model in the GFS. I can't zoom in this tightly on the GFS, unfortunately. They don't have that option available for me. All I can do is a regional view, but I have another site I can show you here that zooms in. And what you can see here is really from a dusting to 1 inch. The inch line on this starts up here in this bright, on this sort of hot pink rather than this light pink. So the GFS would favor more of a dusting to 1/2 inch or so, let's say, in this particular run. So again, what you can see is minor accumulations potentially for the weekend. Now, beyond this system, as I mentioned to you, we've got the potential for some other systems to develop. And even beyond what the European model that I showed you, I stopped out at 240 hours, which takes you to the end of next week. But if you go even beyond that, the GFS can actually see all the way to 384 hours. Now, it's almost like voodoo whenever it gets so far out there. You really have to take it with a grain of salt, because you can't really hone in completely on the specifics whenever it gets this far out. What you do is look for the pattern, and the pattern is going to be showing cold and snowy, and I'll show you that pattern here in a minute. But what I want to show you is here specifically for January 28th, the GFS is bringing in a pretty nice snowstorm. Now, again, this is fantasy at this point. Might happen, might not happen, but I show it to you because I want you to be prepared. And, you know, I know TV Mets don't have times to go through these things, and many of you watch the local guys, and I've gotten questions and things before. Well, how come you mention things and these guys never mention it until 3 or 4 days before the event? Well, the reality is I have several minutes that I can do in these video forecast updates to explain the weather to you in plain and simple English, and that's my goal. Yeah, they have 2 or 3 minutes to tell a compelling tell a compelling weather story, and that's just not much time to do it in. So it's not their fault, but again, I just want to point out to you that this could happen, it could not happen. Again, take this with a grain of salt, but remember, you heard it here first, and we're going to go at it that route. I'm excited about this one because I do think there is some potential for it. For those of you that are snow lovers, this is one to watch. This looks to me like it has the most potential for dumping some significant accumulations that we've seen in a couple of weeks. Okay, so here's basically what you got. You have a low pressure system down here in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember, winds are up counterclockwise around the low, so that's going to be pumping up moisture from the Gulf of Mexico up. The blue lines are actually the 500 millibar dots, so that's pressure up about 18,000 feet. What it's showing you is the mid-level jet stream, and you can see it's just taking a nosedive over us, sort of like this. All right, so what you got is cold air being pumped in here, and it's interacting with moisture. Boom, you get snow. So you get some potentially heavy accumulations for snow. It moves off pretty quickly here, but what you can see is if it slows down any, you can get some more decent accumulations. But just to keep that on your radar screen, the heaviest accumulations look like they might be a little bit more out of our southern Indiana area at this point. But the GFS is, just to give you an idea on those, I can't at this point show you snow accumulations from this storm, but I can show you snow depth with it, and remember, with it being cold, any snow that's already on is going to stay down, and so that's the case that you have up in here. But for us, we wouldn't have any snow down much to speak of at this point, so this is pointing to a good 2 to 3 inches of snow potentially for us out of this system. So again, this is way off. Take that with a grain of salt, but the pattern does certainly support it. We've seen these numbers before, and I'll just go through these very quickly, but I just want to show you that we're headed into a cold pattern. Remember our good friend the AO. This is the Arctic Oscillation. This is cold air on the move. Remember, when it goes negative, that is cold air from Canada just taking a nosedive into us. It's available to be able to take a nosedive into us, at least. That's the way to put it. It tanks. It goes way negative as you near the end of the month. The PNA, well, what we're looking at here, yes, the PNA, Pacific North American, this is dealing with ridging and troughs in the jet stream. When it goes extremely positive, the jet stream takes a nosedive over us and can transport that cold air. Positive pretty much all the way through the end of the month. Look at the black line. This is what you really want to look at. And I don't have time to explain the others, but just look at the black line. It stays positive. North Atlantic Oscillation, remember, if it's negative, that's a blocking pattern. It closes down the North Atlantic. It keeps things around longer. Positive or neutral means things can just pretty much flow out to sea. Faster moving systems whenever it's neutral or positive. Slower moving systems when it's negative. Does start to go negative towards the end of the month, but it's been positive for a while, and really by the time we're going to see that snowstorm, it's more in the neutral zone. So that means no blocking pattern. That's why at this point you would see that low move off pretty quickly rather than being hung up. If this goes to a negative, that could hang up and give us more snowfall accumulations. Here's some others that I don't use very often. The East Pacific Oscillation and the West Pacific Oscillation, EPO and WPO, just basically understand whenever they go negative, that means cold weather is on the move and on the way for us as well. What I want you to notice is just notice the EPO absolutely tanks, goes to the lowest values on the charts, and then stays negative as you end the month of January. Same way with the WPO, although not quite as bad, but it's still strongly negative as well. So all this, basically what I'm saying, points to a very cold end for the month, and really the next couple of weeks looks like it's going to be cold. You can kiss the 50s goodbye until at least the mid part of February, from the way things are looking right now, before we start to see any warm up. That could change. We could also take a look at the GFS ensemble heights, and remember, again, without going into the depth of explaining this, the oranges and reds are warmer than normal temperatures. The blues and yellows and greens here, excuse me, the blues and greens are colder than normal temperatures. If I put this into motion, essentially what you would see is we stay below normal through all that time. Real quickly though, how cold is it going to get? The coldest looks to be around the 27th, 28th, right in there. Just taking you through a few runs of the GFS, you see single digits here in this particular run of the GFS last night. It brought us down from of 9 to -1 around the area. With this particular run, the latest run takes it back to about 6, so no matter how you slice it, ridiculously cold. Whether it's 9 above or whether it's 1 below, it's bitterly cold. So take that with a grain of salt. Go to southernindianaweather.com. You can get the 7-day forecast, and the gist of it, folks, it's going to get cold. And unfortunately, it looks like even colder weather is on the way. I'll have more updates to come on this. I'm out of time for the video update, but believe me, more updates will be to come. Keep it right here. For Southern Indiana Weather, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Stay safe and start preparing for the cold weather, folks. It's on the way.